Hi everyone, I am currently in Amman, Jordan on a beautiful spring day. You maybe can hear the birds chirping in the background and the horns honking because of traffic down below. Welcome to the Middle East, where it is very noisy. I wanted to follow up on some of the questions we got on our video beginning the conversation. And one of the questions was how I thought that the Syrian refugee crisis is impacting Palestinian refugees. Is it taking away the focus? Or is it starting new conversations about refugees from all countries? And I want to take it on two levels. I think that from what I've seen, it has started conversations about refugees, not always positive. But most in our country still don't know that Palestinians are refugees. I want to give you two examples of my experience on the ground with how Syrian refugees have affected, the influx of Syrian refugees have affected Palestinian refugees. Back in January of 2015, I was volunteering with the DSPR, Department of Service for Palestinian Refugees. They are a Palestinian Christian organization. They've been working in the camps for 50 years. They had a lot of funding pulled, and they were surviving because they were serving both Palestinian and Syrian refugees. They had gotten a special funding just to hold a medical clinic in Gaza Palestinian refugee camp in Jerash. And they had Palestinians come a few days before to actually register to see I think there was a pediatrician, an eye doctor, a gynecologist, and a GP there. They actually had a pharmacy set up as well, that people could see a doctor and then hopefully get their prescriptions filled there, all for free. Palestinian refugees came the day before, registered, got a number, and then the clinic was supposed to be the very next day. I believe it was on a Saturday. Now, most Syrian refugees actually in Jordan do not live in Syrian refugee camps. They don't live in Palestinian refugee camps. Most actually have settled in villages around Jordan. So word had gotten out to some villages that there was a free clinic in Gaza camp with doctors and a pharmacy. And that day we had about 200 Syrian refugees crash the clinic. They overran us. They busted through the doors. We had these makeshift doors set up to let people in. Here's some footage of it. It was actually kind of scary. They had their UNHCR paper saying we're refugees, you have to help us, we need to see doctors. And it created quite a lot of chaos. But also I think the Palestinians who had registered the day before and were organized about it felt pretty angry. And in some of the footage that I shot that day, you can see the frustration of having their resources taken away or overrun by another refugee group. Now, to the DSPR's credit, and this is why I partner with national organizations, they actually decided I would have shut the whole thing down, which technically we couldn't have. But we had 500 Palestinians registered that day. We had over 200 Syrians. So what they did is they tried to sort it out. It was mass chaos. They took the Palestinians who had registered first and saw them, and then they took the Syrians who had come. So there were no mass fights. They didn't burn us down. And everybody got seen. I think in the end they saw over 750 people in one day. That's one tiny example of how I've seen resources taken or overrun by Syrian refugees in their immediate need and their trauma. Part of that was their trauma of barging in and just demanding care. The second interesting thing that happened to me when I was stuck in Jordan in 2014. I had been stuck in Jordan. I wasn't planning on being here. And I was investigating organizations that were working with Palestinians. And I would have these meetings with organizations that were no longer working with Palestinians, but working with Syrians. And I had met with an organization, and they actually were interviewing me because they wanted to hire me to work in Zaatari camp, which is a Syrian camp on the border. of Jordan and Syria. And I was just like, if it's not, I have to at least be working with both, because I set up my organization to benefit Palestinian refugees, so I'm not living up to my mission statement. And I had a woman follow me to the parking lot when I left and beg me to reconsider. And her coworker told me that it's not in anymore to work with Palestinian refugees. They're not the in target group. So those have been my experiences on the ground. And I know in talking to some of my Palestinian refugee friends how they're feeling. And they're feeling a little bit excluded. All the international focus is on Syrian refugees. And once again, the Palestinian refugees are missed completely, where most don't understand that they've been in camps for 6 decades, that they're even refugees. So that's kind of how I think, or I've seen my experience of how Syrian refugees are affecting Palestinian refugees. Check back, we'll have more videos coming at you from the Middle East.